The last game I want to talk about is the Nuggets beating the Pelicans 122-116. The game is not necessarily all that interesting. Nuggets have been shorthanded for a while. New Orleans not a very good team. They can't win games in the clutch. But the story to me, in addition to Jamal Murray, who's I think a lock to be an all-star reserve this year, he just has been incredible. 35 points, 9 assists. He brought the game home for Denver. He was phenomenal. But Peyton Watson has been on a tear. Since Jokic, really, he got an opportunity when Christian Braun and Aaron Gordon went down. That was the first wave of injuries to Denver. And so he's in the starting lineup. He's playing phenomenal. He gives them a new wrinkle. But since Jokic has gone down, we're looking at the last 8 games for Peyton Watson, 24.5 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, all-around play, 1.3 steals, 1.1 blocks, one of very few players to average over one of each of those on the season, but it's even more so over this stretch. And then it's been efficient, 44% from 3. A 25-point-per-game scorer giving you 1 stock, 1 steal, and shooting 44% from 3. This guy has been unbelievable legs. And I think he's one of the most consequential players in the NBA, given what he means to Denver, but also just given the fact that he's going to be entering a restricted free agency. I'm going to start by asking this. You've watched him lately. What is his upside as a prospect?
Look, here's the thing. He's completely blown like the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because
completely changed it.
Completely changed what he was. In fact, he was a guy actually over the last couple of years. There were times, and I know he's young. He's only 23 now. So, 21, 22 years old, you don't want to make the conclusions on guys. But I always thought there was more there, and I didn't see it offensively, and I always was like wondering, maybe it's not there. Maybe this is what he is. He's like a really good defender. He's long. He's going to always be in that 20-minute rotation guy because he adds value to the team. But there is no other level for him offensively. He got an opportunity here, and he jumped on it. And so what's standing out to me is just like he just looks so different in terms of what he's processing when he catches the ball. He's now catching the ball looking to go. Like the confidence is oozing out of this guy. And look, some big scoring games will trigger that for you, but it doesn't mean you could sustain that if you don't have the ability. But he's got outrageous confidence right now, combined with things that he's doing at a much better rate than he used to, getting to spots for mid-range. He's very creative now with spins and things. Like, he doesn't have a great handle, but he's very creative with his spins once he gets downhill and using leverage to find a way to get off a shot at the rim. That's like a high make shot. I didn't think he had that in his game. He seemed like a 1 or 2 straight line dribble drive guy, and he had to shoot that direction going to the rim or pick it up and pass out. He's now got an answer, like a counter at the end of these drives when guys come over and they're like the second tier defenders ready to help. He's got something down there around the rim. And here's the difference, Adam. He's now thinking about scoring in those situations when it would have been, no, absolutely not. Pick it up, kick it out because you saw another defender come. There's a lot of traffic. Now he's like, well, how do I figure out a way to get this up off the glass and score? Because they want him to. They need him to. He's getting the support of his teammates. So he's jumped all over an opportunity. And give him a pat on the back because it's a very difficult thing to do to change a narrative on who you are as a player. I think some people had formed it on him. He's erased that for the time being. What we don't know yet is the impact of these guys all returning to the lineup and how does that affect his rhythm and touches and offensive consistency. Look, at worst case, Adam, you have found a guy that now I think you're going to have a lot of confidence in if there's other injuries to be dealt with down the road, which there will be. They're inevitable.
Right.
Or on a given playoff game, when you need a night from somebody and Aaron Gordon struggles or Jamal Murray has an off night, he's now proven that he's capable of doing these kinds of things offensively. And maybe that gets you through a game, which could be enough to turn a series. So if nothing else, the expectation level for Peyton Watson offensively is completely changed. What's going to remain to be seen is the consistency with which he can do it once Aaron Gordon's back, once Christian Braun is back, Jokic is back, and everybody's out there. What does that look like for Peyton Watson? That's what we don't know yet.
Let me get to that in 1 second because I want to go back to something you said about his handle. He doesn't have a great handle. He looks awkward with his handle, but I think it's actually very functional, and I'm curious what you think of this. He has incredibly long arms. 7-foot wingspan. I think a little bit higher than 7-foot wingspan. Super long arms, and so sometimes it looks like the ball is sloppy in his handle. But last night, they were going to him to break down the defense. Jamal Murray is a great tough shot maker, and he's really good at getting to his step back, but that's not necessarily generating shots for everyone, off of that. A lot of it's he can create his own shot. Peyton Watson was the guy getting by his guy. You put a guy on him and he'd get by it, collapse the defense. And a lot of that is handled. And I just wonder, this happens in the NBA where a guy has a fluidity to everything. It looks good, but it's not functional. And some guys it's clunky, but it's super functional. I think he might have a very functional handle. It just doesn't, it looks kind of like rough the way he does it.
Yeah, it's effective for what he needs it to be. He never really had to handle the ball very much when those guys are healthy. I mean, nobody does really in that offense besides Murray and Jokic. I mean, that's really who handles the ball. So he never really had a responsibility to do that. It felt like to me at some point, maybe last year or the year before, it just felt like Peyton Watson, because there weren't a ton of offensive opportunities to be had, he basically just decided, I'm just going to hang my hat on playing defense. Like, that's going to be my impact with my length and shot blocking ability for a wing and contesting shots. It's almost to the point where there's a switch in your mind as a player. Look, everybody in the NBA can score. Like, they can, man. At some point, just about every single guy was a lead scorer. You don't get those opportunities in the league if you're a role player. So I think he turned that switch off a little bit. Almost like it's not, opportunities aren't there. This is my way to earn minutes. And so that now he's turned that on because the opportunity was there, had some early success when guys were out, and look what it steamrolled into. The thing I never thought he would get to is if he's 48% this month from the three, and it's not a small sample size. He's taking 5.5 a game. He's also getting to the line a ton and converting. So he's done it all three levels: mid-range, finishing at the rim. He's shooting from deep better than he ever has. And then, that nice little extra component of getting 6.5 free throws a game, that helps. So give the guy credit, man. He is right now. Look, think about this. And Adam, I did this. I went back and looked at all the way back to like middle of last season before I stopped. Player of the week in the Western Conference. Go look at that list of names.
All stars. It's just stars.
One star after another.
I know.
It's from MVP candidates to guys that are absolute all-star locks, all-league vote getters, and then Peyton Watson there. So, hey, man,
he's a star for a week.
He absolutely is, and if I were him, I don't know what you get for that. If the league sends you something, probably a plaque or something like that, I'd take that one, man, and supersize it, because those are hard to get when the star players typically tend to hold on to those awards.
Legs, I mean, everybody knows I covered Denver. I'm close to it. You can call me biased, whatever. I try to separate those things as best I can. I was really high on Denver this year because Jokic is playing the best basketball of his career. Jamal Murray is playing by far the best basketball player of his career. It's not even close. This is the best basketball Jamal Murray has played. Denver has more depth than they've ever had. But I look at Peyton Watson and go, this might be the biggest swing factor. I was high on Denver before the breakout, and now I watch it and go, he is playing at an elite level for them as this extra piece. And I wonder if he should be starting over. It's not Christian Braun. We know what he can do. He's been doing everything great. Is he playing better than him, right now? I think he's playing as good as Christian Braun ever has in a different direction, and probably better. You look at Cam Johnson, you think maybe he plays over him or just eats into some of his minutes. But the question is, playing with Jokic is tough in this one way. He's so effective and so efficient that the best option is always just to play through him. And so I wonder does Denver actually need all the stuff that he's doing, or is allowing him to freelance a little bit more actually hurting you, because Jokic's offense is a walking 130 offensive rating. Just play through him and cut, and you're going to score at a high rate. So can Denver blend what they found in Peyton Watson with what they've already established through Jokic and Jamal Murray?
That is the magic question. And that's basically what I just said. That's what we have to see. What does this ultimately mean for the Nuggets and Peyton Watson? You don't know until all those guys are out there together. And if he's giving them, like, he's not going to average 20 points a game or 23 a game or whatever it's been during this stretch. That's not going to happen when those guys come back, obviously. But is it going to be more than like the 6 that he was giving you, like when he was getting sustained minutes when those guys were playing? I think so. Yeah. I think so. And that takes pressure off of some of those guys. And most importantly, it gives Adelman options, man. There's another button to push now, another piece to move on the chessboard. He has now at his disposal because of this resurgence of Peyton Watson's offense. It gives him another option on a night if you don't want to, you need more than Cam Johnson's maybe giving you if he's quiet some nights, if Christian Brown is struggling with his shooting. Like, it gives you more options in that regard. That's what Peyton Watson has done, man. He's given a head coach all they really want, which are more options, greater depth of scoring. Every coach in the league wants it. Peyton Watson has given them that.
I think Peyton Watson can tilt the championship odds this year. If Denver finds a way to get this version of him integrated into the Jokic and everybody healthy version of him, they just added a major impact piece, and I could see it as a possibility. Denver, that's why I'm so excited. People got upset yesterday. I had Denver high in the power rankings. They're number 2. They're a 2 seed right now in the West, and they haven't had their starting lineup for 2 months. I think Denver is looking scary. I think they're looking really good.